everybody. Welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. We have a special movie review for you tonight. In addition to me, we also have Dominic. Dominic, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I've definitely been a fan of Kimmel's Irish Pub for a while now, and I don't have a channel per se, but I'm following the movie reviews pretty closely, so I'm definitely a fan. Thanks for inviting me on the channel, Jeff. Kimmel's Irish Pub.
Absolutely. And for those of you who've been a subscriber for probably, I guess, a year ago, we did the interview, right? So I'll try and link it in here so they can see the interview. I think it was about a year ago, right?
It was a little while ago, yeah.
Yeah. So this is our first time getting back together. But tonight we're going to do a review of Dream Scenario. So some background around Dream Scenario. The plot is essentially, well, it's a Nicolas Cage movie. That's kind of why we picked it, right? What happens is he is a professor, and he starts showing up in everybody's dreams. And so it's what happens from him showing up in other people's dreams and what that leads to. That's really about an hour and 49 minutes, I think it was. So I'll hand it over to you. Tell me what you thought. Give me some insight.
I'm just gonna go off the cuff and say it's kind of hard to review the movie without giving spoilers.
Yeah, you want to do that? Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Kimmel style.
Right.
I mean, this is the only time. I mean, honestly, it's the only time I ever did rent a movie that's practically in theaters at home. I've never really done that. So when you first said it, I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of loved it. I mean, I watched it. I loved it so much. I watched it the first day and I went to bed and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I watched it the second day. I mean, I love Nicolas Cage. There was a lot of nuance in the movie. To tell you the truth, his name was Paul Matthews. So I kind of loved seeing him. He was such a schlumpy guy, such a schleppy guy that I kind of like seeing him get it's not really what he deserved because he didn't deserve it, but for some reason I like seeing him suffer. I don't really know why. He was just such a schlep. The kids in the school were afraid of him in his dreams, and when they went into the auditorium, come closer, and they kind of all ran away. And again, spoiler alert at the end where he was like, Freddy Krueger, he got big in France, I think, and how ridiculous the marketing meeting was, but it was also probably true to life now. I just loved it. The whole thing that he was a professor. I just liked everything about it. I really did like it, man. I mean, what did you think? Talk to me.
A couple of things. Two of the things you mentioned, the Freddy Krueger reference, that was in like the middle of the film as well as at the end. I loved that. I thought that was a great touch. And I loved his acting. Like you said, it's a different character that he's playing in this one. Schleppy, you know what I mean? And he didn't go all Nicolas Cagey in this one, He was just a different guy. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Now, as far as, likability of the film, I liked it for the movie aspect of it or the cinema of it. But the emotional side of it, like it didn't, it was sad, and I thought that, but I enjoyed what they did. It was original. Again, his acting was great. It was new. I loved every way that they took it, taking that change. I like the 57-minute mark is when it started to change, because at first he was just he was standing by. He wasn't an active participant. He was an NPC, if you will, in people's dreams. And then around the 50 to 57-minute mark, it changes and he becomes more active in these people's dreams. And so I thought that was an interesting twist on everything. But then when you get to the end, I just felt sad. You know what I mean? Because he's living on the top of life. He's very popular, and and he's kind of enjoying that. And then it all comes crumbling down. So great movie, but it made the emotions, I think made you feel a little different than maybe you wanted to going into the film. At least in my thought.
I agree with you, but I don't know why. I just like seeing him get beat up by life for some reason. I mean, the scene with the girl with kind of like the girl's dream when he was in the girl's the marketing executive, when he went to a house and he's married and he's standing there in the background in a house. I mean, he was cheating on his wife.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and then at the end his wife just gets rid of him and goes with the coworker that she was like kind of flirting with. I knew that was going to happen. The wife didn't seem to like. Nobody really seemed to like Nicolas Cage all that much in the movie. Even the daughter. You're a family guy. I kind of thought of you. I'm like this, Kimmel's a nice guy, but his family left him. His daughters really didn't respect him. His wife got rid of him at the end. He lost it all.
Yep. Nope. I agree. Yeah. I thought it was. I thought the daughters, they look like sisters. I thought they did a great job of casting. I don't know if they're related. I probably could have looked it up. But when you talk about his family, I thought of that myself. I was looking at the two girls, and I'm like, they look, good together. Like they really are sisters. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then you mentioned also the when he's in the apartment, right? I think that was the catalyst for the change in direction of the movie. So I think prior to that, that's where he was the NPC. He wasn't, he was just showing up in people's dreams and not being active. And he was really disappointed in that. But then when that moment happened, I think it was after that point that now he started to, murder people in their dreams is really what happened. And I think it
Yeah.
was because what happened on that couch is what caused that.
So my question to you, Jeff, is what was your interpretation? I just watched it and listened closely. What was your interpretation of the ending? The last 10 minutes?
The last 10 minutes or the last scene?
Like both. I was really asking about the last scene. Basically, yeah, the last scene when he showed. Yeah, I mean, what'd you think?
Even before I say that, one thing that I didn't like was the gimmicky dream machine or whatever that
I didn't like that.
I thought
It seemed
they
to
took
come out of
that
no,
too
the
far.
last. It seemed to come out of no. It basically came out of nowhere. It's like, to tell you the truth, it was like they didn't really know how to write it. They wrote a great movie and they kind of didn't know how to write an ending. So they
Mhm.
came up with this kind of ending that was, they just invented that thing because he was in the dreams. Where did that come from? They just had that technology. What was that? I mean, I
Right.
get they didn't really know how to end the movie. Well, the very end I liked, but the thing with the bracelet I didn't really like.
I agree, and I think if they wanted to include that, like because of this phenomenon, as they say, they're able to create this, and that's the end. You know what I mean? Like that's it. We created this new thing, but then they started to use it in the plot of the movie. And up until the ending when he joins his ex-wife's dream, and then he starts floating away. You know what I mean? And nobody can help him. So that was my thought. Like because in the beginning, that's what happened to his daughter. If you remember, he was raking the leaves, and his daughter started to float up into the sky. So now the roles are reversed, and now he's being impacted, and nobody's there to help him. So a little role reversal is, what I thought at the end of that. That was my take on it.
I didn't think of that. But they also said with the dream, it only works if you're in the dream of someone who wants you there.
Oh
The
yeah,
wife didn't want him anymore. The
you're
wife
right.
did not want Nicolas Cage anymore. They just wanted to be rid of him.
That's a great point. I do remember them saying that, and I even thought when they said that, I'm like, well, whose dream is he going to answer? Because nobody likes this guy anymore. You know what I mean? But he was going to do it, and that's a great point. He goes in there and then he floats off because she didn't want him there. Good.
She didn't. I just like the originality of the plot. Nicolas Cage, he's great. I love Nicolas Cage, but like you said, a different role. He wasn't jumping around and stuff. Geez, sometimes you see Nicolas Cage. He looks, he looked a little heavy set in this one. In the movie, the Devil's Come Up. What was the name of that other movie that he was in where he had red hair? Sympathy for the Devil. He looked
Yes.
super
Yep.
skinny. Now he looked a little heavy set. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then his hair, like what he did for his
They
hair.
made him look terrible. He was
So
bald.
yeah, yeah, he did a good job. And and you think about like when you mention Nicolas Cage and we talk about like Bruce Willis, right? And Nicolas Cage, they make all kinds of movies now, everything, right? Well, I think he does it just for the love of acting. Some people do it for the money and stuff like that. I really think Nicolas Cage just really loves his job and wants to continue to make movies no matter what, you know. So I think that's great.
And we'll continue to watch his movies.
Yeah, absolutely. As long
Yeah.
as he makes them, we'll watch them. I also liked a lot of the cameos. I mean, Michael Cera wasn't really a cameo because he kind of played
He
a
was in it.
role in it. But Amber Midhunter, so she was from the prequel to Predator. Forget what that one was. Prey.
Wait, what part did she play?
She was in. So you remember when they were talking about that new machine, the wrist machine, when all those people were in the house?
Those young people? Yeah.
Yeah, she was in there.
Oh, okay.
Another person was Noah Cininto. He's in a couple of different things. He was in that as well.
Oh, you
So I
did
thought
your
that
research. Yeah, they put the best looking people in there.
right. Yep.
You did your research.
Exactly.
And that was a little ridiculous too, because it was like so true to life. I mean, some of this stuff was like true to life. When they were talking about Sprite, he's going to be in a Sprite ad, and that's probably the way marketing is now. I
Yeah.
mean, it was true to life, which is a little jarring, but I mean, that's kind of how it is now. Not that I've sat in a marketing meetings like that, but that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was funny. Like, and then they show how they were using the wrist, and the people were joining his dream. Like your punches will hit harder if you start taking these pills or whatever it was. I thought.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did you ever see Succession?
No.
Oh,
I know
okay.
what you're referring to, the television show.
Yeah, yeah. There's Greg. He was in it. He played in this movie. It was the kid who played the CEO of the NORAD, who created that thing. I don't know if you remember him, but he
Oh,
was.
that guy. No, I do. Like the tall, skinny guy with
Yep.
the. They really yeah. I didn't really realize those people were that famous. A couple of cameos of fame of people who people like. Yeah, I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat that they kind of snuck in there and had those people in there. But so overall, what do you think? What would you give it?
I don't really know if this movie is for everyone. I mean, I could see someone easily. I could see someone's like it's kind of hard to rate because I could see someone watching, saying he rated this a great rating, but I think it's awful. But I mean, if you like Nicolas Cage, you're probably gonna like this. But I watched it twice. It was worth every penny that I paid for it to rent. I'm gonna have to go probably a rock solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I didn't even see what it was. I have to see what was it on our.
It
Um,
got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it was
okay,
very highly acclaimed. It was A2A, the studio, so
get up here quick. All right, got it. And it was 7.1 on IMDb. 16,262 people rated it. So that's about where I was going to go. I was going to go about a 7. And I think it's like I said, it's probably an 8 for the movie making aspect of it. I don't even know what the terminology is, the cinematic part of it, but the
sure.
emotional side of it and everything else, and it takes me down to a 6, so I balance it out at probably a
Nonsense.
7. Yeah.
And remember with the beginning of the zebra, he's talking about they blend in with the herd, with the black and white, but they don't. What if they didn't blend in? Well, he didn't blend in.
Yeah.
And then the kid said, when you don't blend in, it's good for mating. Well, it wasn't good for mating for him at the end. Nobody wanted him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that was a good reference in there. And I picked up on them talking about it, but not relating it back to what was going on. I kind of missed that symbolism. So that's a good
I
point.
watched it twice. I mean, I caught it twice. I woke up the next morning. I said, I have to watch it again. I only have it for 48 hours. And I'll give it another watch. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'll catch a few things.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, any final words before we cut this one?
I would say when it comes to, I mean, it's on pay-per-view essentially now, but when it comes to streaming, just whatever regular streaming it comes to, Amazon Prime or whatever, I think you should give it a watch. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if I'd say it's worth giving it a try, for sure.
So, so your recommendation, just to clarify, is to rent it when it comes down to like $5.99, not necessarily rent it now when it's $20, or
I mean, I would say even just wait for it to come for free. It's only like maybe another month still. It's not
okay.
like just give it another month till it comes totally for free.
Okay. All right. Good. Unless you're a diehard Nicolas Cage fan, then
Yeah.
maybe you'll pay for it. So good. All right. Well, that's it for Kimmel's Irish Pub, the dream scenario. Hopefully we were helpful. Love
I
to hear
hope
your
so.
thoughts. Put them in the comments and tune in next time. Kimmel's Irish Pub.